someone rattling around in the background. That's not you, is it?
Oh, that could have been.
It could have been. Welcome everybody. We've got quite a few people there. Anthony, Chris, and Alia, or Analia, I should say. Sorry if I said your name wrong, Analia, Cherie, Steph. Hi, Steph. And one or two others, Ellen. And I just got a message that everyone can hear us well. So thanks for spending some time, Sarah. And I know you have to finish at 8:30 because we've got MasterChef to watch, right?
No bedtime,
Oh, yeah.
8:30.
Oh, yeah, it's your bedtime. But besides that, because I know you get up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, welcome. Sarah, recently you sort of quit your job and went full time as a photographer. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. So the people out there, we want to give a lot of
Yeah.
information. There may be quite a few out there that are thinking of quitting the job and becoming a full-time professional photographer. So we hope that this will help them with the journey. And if anyone's got any questions
Yeah.
as we go along, please just send me a message. All right. So this is you. You're based in Brisbane.
Yep.
You're called Sarah Streets Photography, and you've just had your business for 3 months. So what we want to know first, of course, is when did you first have this interest in photography?
Well, when I was quite young, I was probably around 8, and I used to take photos with my Uma's camera. You can see my Uma and me there when I was little.
That's your
Yeah, so it
grandmother, right?
started quite early for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Uma's my grandmother. Yeah.
And how did she encourage you? What did you do at 8 years old that got you interested in photography?
Oh, sorry, Bernie, you were cutting in and out then. Are you pressing
No,
something?
I'm all right now. So at eight
Oh,
years old, you got an interest. What did you photograph at that age?
my family. So I actually used to take photos with my Uma's old film camera, and then
Yeah,
we would develop them,
yeah.
and I would cut out the pieces with scissors and stick them on a piece of cardboard and make like a giant collage of my family, and I just thought it was great.
Okay. So that was your start, and you had this sort of started to develop this passion for taking photographs.
Yeah.
So which camera? We've got a couple of cameras here. Which camera did you start off with there?
I actually bought my first camera when I was studying at TAFE, and it was a Canon 700D
Yeah,
with a little twin lens kit, and it had the old pop-up flash.
yeah.
So that was a good start for me. But yeah, that was my first one.
Okay, so you started digital. You actually photographed film, but when you got more serious, you of course moved to digital.
I did, yeah.
And what's the camera you use now? I can't see the number on there. What is it?
Yeah, it's been blurred out. I actually use now I shoot with a Canon Mark III, and a
The
lot better lenses now as well.
the 5D Mark III.
Yeah, 5D Mark III. It's a good camera.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah. So, who were your main influences in the early days and up till now, most?
Well, I was very lucky to work for some master photographers. I worked alongside Katrina Christ
Yep.
and Alana McTiernan for about 6.5 years. So they influence me a lot, and they both have amazing work. So I was really lucky to work with those photographers.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
you, and the photographs we see the on the left and the centre one, these images, did you have any part in their creation, or are they just a sample of the photographer?
No, these are, yeah, they're photographers. So the two on the left are Lani's. She does beautiful illustrative work, and the black and white of the little baby is Katrina Christ. She's really well known for that white background,
Yeah,
um, black and white shot. Yeah.
yeah, fantastic. So, what was your most memorable portrait story? I suppose you've taken a lot of portraits. Which ones stick in your mind?
Um, well, this image here that's up on the screen was probably quite memorable for me. I mean, all of them are memorable. I love little kids and families, but this one was special because this couple, um, they knew that they weren't a baby,
Yeah,
so they wanted to capture their, their beautiful pregnancy and their family time.
yeah.
So they had those memories. So for me, that's really special that I could give them that. So yeah, probably that shoot is most memorable.
Okay. And if we just go to the next slide, you do weddings as well as portraits. When did you photograph your first wedding?
Yes. My first wedding was actually shot in 2008.
Right.
Um, and I shot that wedding for about $500, my first wedding. Um, and yeah, I learned a lot.
And this is a photograph that you took at your first wedding.
Yeah, one of the best.
So the rest of them weren't that good?
Well, not compared to now. It's so funny when you look back at your first photographs and you're like, wow, yeah, wasn't that great?
Yeah, yeah, well, we all have to start somewhere, and that's not a bad effort. It's reasonably exposed and lacks a little bit of expression here and there, but that's okay. And just tell me about your very first sort of portrait. How long ago did you start selling your work? Did you start charging for your work?
Not too long ago, because I used to work for a big portrait studio, I used to only offer weddings.
Mhm.
So portraits, I probably started, it was close to a year ago now, and I kind of just had a very basic price list. I started up just selling one print, which was up to 8 by 12 inches, or they could go smaller, and I'd give them the digital file with that as well. So it was really basic.
So it was one file, one print, $90.
Yep.
That's pretty basic price list, hey? How did you go with that? How long did that last?
That kind of lasted not too long. I mean, I did it for a while until, because I used to just send the proof sheets to
Yeah,
people
yeah. Okay.
for them to order. So yeah, it didn't last very long.
With this price structure as a coach, I sort of wonder, what if they wanted more? What did you do?
I never got asked, I think, because I didn't offer it. Nobody could see any products, so they were just happy ordering, their prints.
So what they saw was what they just got one, no choice.
Yeah. Well, they might have ordered multiple, but yeah, they got one type of thing.
Yeah, okay. So now your portrait pricing is a little more structured. Um, it's quite a simple one. It's not a difficult one to sell. Just tell us how well this is sort of working for you. Just tell us a little bit about the structure of it and why it's structured this way.
So it's it's kind of it's structured on offering more things, so more products. People can actually see the products and they can choose, you know, something they want for their home, and it's kind of structured for value as well. So maybe some of the higher priced products are better value for the customer.
Hmm. So as you go up or down
Does
the
that make
collections,
sense?
yeah, the collections,
Yeah.
as you spend more, there's more perceived value. So collection one is not very good value with 4 images. Then collection two, you get a lot more. And then collection three is where you sort of get some digital files. And I suppose that'd be what a lot of people go for, would it?
Yeah.
And then collection four
Yeah,
is,
because it's better value, and then yeah.
and so you just lead them. It's just structured in such a way that they sort of go for the more expensive ones. You've got the add-ons, the acrylics, the canvas, and the frame collections, the portrait box, and they can buy, I see, high resolution images separately, so that's good as well.
Yes, yeah.
So the combinations, they can buy a collection and other things, which is great.
Yeah, it is really good.
And it's very,
Um,
very simple.
More variety than the first one.
Yeah. Okay, so uh, you're at the early stages, of course, of your career. As I say, you've only just started, so your prices are very reasonable
Yeah.
and realistic. So, with your first wedding price list, just tell us about that and the structure and what you charged in the early days.
My first wedding price list was a pick and choose price list. So I kind of structured it so the client would pay for my time on the day. So they could choose, you know, the bride getting ready, groom getting ready, the ceremony, and each of those were a price. And then they could choose whether they wanted their USB of high resolution images, and they could choose an album on top of that as well if they wanted.
Hmm.
I'd say the average wedding was about 2,200, or sometimes wanted me to stay a little bit more, but that was my first price list.
So it was something like $200 for the groom's home, $300 for the bride. Is that the way it went? Something like those numbers?
Yeah, it was 200 for the bride getting ready, 200 for the groom getting ready, 500 for the ceremony and location,
Yeah.
300 for the first 2 hours at the reception. And then you kind of just keep adding, and clients could, you know, sometimes I might have got a client that said, oh, well, I only just want you for the ceremony and the location,
Yeah.
and then I'll get the USB of the photos, which was 1,500. So, you know, that would be 2,000 just for that short wedding.
And did that price structure work well? You've obviously changed from it, but were you happy with that, or did
Yeah.
you see some faults in that you weren't
Um,
maximising the sale, or?
well, at the time, I thought it was great, because basically the client was paying more for the longer I was there, and I thought I was giving the customer the flexibility to kind of choose whatever they wanted for their wedding. So at the time, yeah, I thought it was a great price list. And then, you know, I kind of spoke to you, and things changed.
We changed things a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So your wedding price list now, and this isn't your current one. I think this is the first one we started you on, and certainly we've put your prices up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
So
bit different.
again, we had it kept it simple, and we've just got one coverage,
Yes.
and then we've got some extras on top of that. How
Yeah.
did brides receive this one?
Um, it was a bit mixed. I felt in the beginning that when I put this price list out, maybe I wasn't getting as many. I was getting a few more saying no, because maybe they didn't want to spend that much. Because with my older price list, you know, there could be someone could select, you know, a coverage there for 2,000. But, you know, now that I'm doing this kind of price list, I think I'm kind of choosing my customer a little bit more rather than letting the customer choose me as well.
Right. And I suppose the thing is, you could look upon this price structure as being too simple. It's sort of in a way like having one dress in a dress shop. And you know, people like a choice, you know, 3 or 4. So that's something, you know, that we certainly will address in the future. But it's certainly giving you some bookings at a realistic price.
Yes.
And how do you find weddings? Do you like them? Most photographers I talk to, wedding photographers, I love weddings, you know. I'd photograph them even if I wasn't getting paid. Are you like that?
You know the answer to this one. I like weddings, but what I love is family. So I'm kind of at the stage where, yeah, I'm going to keep doing weddings for a few years, but family stuff to me is what I want to
do. Yes, and you do it sort of very well as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, they can send them in the message box there, and we'll try and get through them. Oh, the reception's a bit better now. It was another slow start for a webinar, which seems to happen with me all the time. It seems when the computer gets warmer, it starts to get better, and the sound and everything gets better. So if we just move on here a little bit and talk a little bit about your style. Now, here's a couple of examples of your portrait work. Tell us about what you're trying to achieve when you take the photographs of your families.
I'm trying to achieve a more natural style. I guess the image on the right with the newborn is a little bit more posed, but it's harder with a newborn baby. But I just really love natural shots, not too posy, having fun, something that really captures the essence of that family at that time. And that's why I go to the home. So go to their home and really get to know the family while I'm shooting them as well.
Okay. And you do them outside and inside, and the black and white. When you show them, do you show them any color ones, or do you just show black and white?
No, I do. I show a mix, just depending on what I think suits the image better.
Right.
Yeah, but I do love black and white.
Okay. And it certainly, you get that interaction with the family, and they look great. I mean, why wouldn't you want to buy them?
That's right.
And your wedding style, is that similar? A couple of examples here. One is casual, one is a little more structured. I mean, they're just standing there with the sun coming into the lens.
Yeah, the lens flare. Yeah, wedding style is weddings are great. I think every couple is different when you're shooting a wedding, and you know, some couples will be silly, and others will want to be a bit more structured. I guess you've just got to run with the personalities of the bridal party as well. But I love to make my wedding images look natural. That's what I tell my clients, that I try to make my images look natural and candid, and because that's what I love.
Yeah, and I can see that they are like that. They look great. I could sell these photographs myself very easily. I just want to show this little video because you've done a couple of little videos, and I just want to show this because I think your videos are great, and I think there's a big market there, but there's still a bit of work to do in the marketing of it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So let's just click this button and let's get everyone to see this, if we can.
If it works. There's no sound. Looks a little jumpy on my end.
How good's that? I just love those. So good.
I was trying to watch it, but it looked really jumpy and I couldn't hear any sound.
A little bit jumpy. All right. Well, we hope it
Yeah.
recorded all right.
Yeah.
I've had a request from Steph in New Zealand, and she's interested. She says interested for Sarah to share what she'd like to on her marketing processes and the sales techniques. Do you want to tell us about your early marketing, what you did, and how you got customers? And
Yeah, so I guess in my very early days, I basically just started, um, telling my friends I was a photographer and, photographing my friends' weddings
right.
and families when they started having a family, and then, telling them to spread the word as well, especially if they were happy with their photos. That's pretty much all I used to do. I actually did no marketing, and that's why my business was very slow. When I was working full time and
Yeah.
just having the business on the side.
Yeah. So it was mainly just referrals, like that's the way
It
most
was,
people start.
yeah, but very little. But yeah, that's what it was.
And we'll talk about a bit more about later marketing in a sec, but just tell us about your post-production. A lot of photographers spend far too much time with our post-production. What about you? Are you one of those photographers that spend hours or days, or how long does it take you to do, say, a portrait or a wedding computer time?
Yes. Look, I've gotten a lot faster now, but it used to take me a long time. So I would, especially a wedding, I'd spend a long time on there.
How long is
But
a long
now,
time?
ah, well, goodness, uh, how long is a piece of string? Like I wouldn't do it all at once, so it would
Yeah,
be a while. Like it would
yeah,
be, editing one day, retouching, basically in Camera Raw another day,
okay,
opening up every image one by one, fine-tuning the images. So a long time. Portraits the same. I'd really kind of delve deep into the finer details of the image and do a lot of retouching. Um, I think because I do it so much now, I'm really fast at doing an overall adjustment, in the Camera Raw, and then I just do little fine-tuning tweaks. I know what my clients are looking for and what they don't like, so I just try not to spend too much time retouching because it's just a waste of my time. I could be doing something a bit more important. Yeah.
Like marketing.
Yes, very important.
And so how long would it take you to do a portrait shoot with your post-production?
Okay, so basically, I will do an edit, as in pick the best images that I'm going to show the customer. I now use Lightroom for my basic editing. I used to use Adobe Camera Raw, but now Lightroom I find is better. I do a quick, proofing, I call it, a proofing of all the images in Lightroom, and I save them. That should not take me longer than an hour and a half, 2 hours max, and then I load them into ProSelect to show the customer their slideshow when I do their viewing.
Okay, so it still takes you a while. And just tell us about the process about you shooting and selling, the fact you go to the home and do both.
Yes, so clients love that. So you want me to tell you a bit about how I do it, or?
Yeah, well, the fact that you do that you haven't got a home studio, you haven't got a home anything, right? People don't go to your home in any way, neither for the shoot or for the sales. So just tell us how you do it with when you take the photographs, how long it takes, and then when you go back to the home, you take your laptop and plug it into their TV and tell us a little about the process and how it feels, how you feel about it.
Yeah, it's really easy. So go into the home, I do the shoot. The shoot takes an hour. At the shoot, I'll schedule a time for their viewing, like to go back to their home and do the viewing. And that's normally, about a week later, but it could be sooner, just depending on the family. Go back to the home, do the viewing. Sometimes the viewing can be anywhere between, say, 45 minutes to 2 hours, just depending on the customer again and how good decisive they can be. And it's really easy. Customers love it because they see it as really good service. They don't have to go anywhere, which they love. Everyone's time poor these days, so yeah.
And with the selling, everyone's comfortable?
Yes, everyone's comfortable. Well, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So it's a pretty easy way of selling. And with your marketing now, tell me what's different about it now.
Well, I'm actually marketing now, which I never used to do. So, trying to get clients in the door and, using my emailer and my Facebook to attract clients, which is really great.
Okay. We seem to have a Randall Haynes joined us. Randall, if you can turn off your mic, that'd be good. Otherwise, we're learning about your private sex life. Okay. Okay.
It was on sure, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Let's just go to the marketing now. A lot on Facebook.
Yes, yep, I find Facebook really great for marketing. That's one of my main ones I use at the moment.
And what percent of your clients come from that Facebook marketing?
Oh, numbers. Look, at a guess, I would say at least 60%.
Right. Well, that's pretty good because Facebook doesn't cost much to boost posts, does it? It's not a fortune.
No,
It's still a good way to market.
Yep.
I just want to just look at your opening, which was about 3 weeks ago, and I flew up to sunny Brisbane to join you, and it was a fantastic night. And your studio is looking really good. Just tell us why you chose this spot. And although it's a very small space, I noticed some people would go in and they'd say, in fact, someone said, "Where's the door to the other rooms?" Because it's no bigger than a bedroom.
It is, yeah. It's
Very
a small
small.
little room.
Yeah.
Perfect for me as my first studio. I really just wanted a gallery space.
Right.
You know, somewhere I could meet wedding clients and portrait clients. I didn't need a studio space for shooting because I don't do that style of shooting. I don't particularly like studio lit portraits, so that's all I needed. I chose Main Road because I wanted to get walk by and drive by traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose the area because that's the area I grew up in. So I grew up in a neighbouring suburb. Yeah, so that was my home to me. So
you felt really comfortable there. And so
yeah.
you're going to use that for just to do viewings?
Yep, that's right. And consultations for wedding clients.
So you're still going to shoot in the home, and then they're invited back to do the viewing in Pro Select, and you've got a TV rather than a projector. Why didn't you get a projector?
Space restrictions. So projectors apparently need a certain amount of throw, which
Right.
I had no idea about, and my space is kind of small, and it just wouldn't have looked right. So I opted for the TV, which also looks amazing, I think. Yeah.
And that's working well for you. I mean, you've only been there 3 weeks, and I believe the second day you were there, you did a sale of $1,500, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's a pretty good start, hey?
Good start, yeah.
Good start. And
good start.
on the night, the local councillor you invited to officially open the studio, and in her address, the councillor said that you were a very smart person because you had employed a business coach early on in your career. And I thought that was a smart move too, right? So why did you do that? Why did you choose to get a business coach, and why did you choose me?
Well, I was following you for a long time. So when I worked for somebody else, I would always read your emails when they came through, and I thought to myself, when I work for myself, I'm gonna hire Bernie. I just loved your emails, and the reason I thought I needed a business coach was because I knew how to take photos. I knew how to engage with people. I knew how to do that side of things, but I didn't have the first clue about business and how to, what to do. I just didn't know marketing, didn't know business, and I needed to hire a professional to help me with that.
Yeah, and that's great. When you started with me a while ago, you did a smaller sort of mentoring thing I did, and then you were happy with the way things went, so then you went for a 6-month mentoring program.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So for me, that was a good little trial. It wasn't such a huge commitment at the time. And, straight after I did that smaller 8-week program, I was just like, well, I can't not have Bernie now. So that's when I signed up again for the 6 months.
Okay, so this new 8-week thing is something that I have recently revamped and reintroduced. And basically, I'll just go through it quickly. I'm not trying to sell anybody out there or anything, but this is just the facts. How to get more of the right type of clients, marketing that works, affordable. It's weekly payment. So most of my clients are 6-month or 12-month, and they're what I call high-end clients, but I like to give others the opportunity of at least of experience what having a coach is like. So I've made this very affordable with weekly payments. It's still a one-on-one Skype session, so we do talk. You're actually talking to me. So we look at how to stand out in the marketplace, selling digital images at a good price, which a lot of my photography clients are doing now. It's amazing me how much they're getting just for digital images, which is magnificent profit because there's no basic product really. And looking at turning those email inquiries and phone inquiries into customers and creating a price list that does turn a profit. And although, you know, even with your prices, Sarah, we know they're not high, but you're certainly turning over a profit, hey?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So if anyone's interested, they can email me at that email address, or they can go to my blog. All the information is on there. There's reams of information just on that particular program with the pricing and everything. Just berniegriffiths.com.blog. So Sarah, where to from here? You've started. Where do you see yourself in 12 months? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
12 months, I would like to have a staff member doing my retouching for me. Yeah. So I have more time for shooting and marketing. Yeah, that's probably where I see myself in 12 months.
Okay. And is how big, where do you see yourself in five years? Where do you see this business going?
Yeah, 5 years, I see this business with a few more staff members, and probably for me, what I'd really like to achieve is, you know, a bit more work-life balance. So maybe I can, you know, work a little bit less in the business, but still have the business running, and work less days a week. So not working 6 days a week.
Right. And we have to say that, you know, you're not married.
Not married.
You don't have any children yet. So I know there's a lot of photographers out there who say, yeah, it's easy now. You wait till you get kids, right? But you've so you've started well, and that's fantastic. Yeah. I've got a couple of questions. Leanne wants to know what size TV you bought there.
Oh, do you know what? I have no idea, but it's pretty big. I'm not very technical. Is it
like 50-inch?
It must be about that. Bernie, did you have a look at it when you came into the opening?
I don't think it's around about 50-inch there. Yeah, it's definitely not 60. So yeah. It is a good size.
Yeah, so it's a good size for my little space. I think if I went any bigger, it would just be a giant TV in a little room.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. So it's working well anyway, and in my experience, I've never found a difference between projecting and using a TV.
Yeah.
And I'm a test and measure man, so I tested both, and those were the results that I got from there. So what advice would you give to someone starting off? Like, you know, there's a lot of photographers would love to do what you're doing, to take that big leap of faith and take out the lease on a commercial premises, spend the money in revamping it. You painted the walls, you put a new floor down, you put track lighting, you put tracks up for the photos.
Yeah.
There are a lot of photographers would love to do that. What advice would you give them from what you've learned so far?
I would probably say you've got to, I know it's so cliche, but you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to really want it. I think you need to, if you don't know how to do something, you need to learn how to do it or hire somebody that can do it for you.
Right.
You know, get a business coach if you need to, pay someone to do your retouching if you're no good at that. Do what you're good at, and I'd say go for it. I think, you know, the possibilities are endless, and I just think, you know, you can achieve anything you want in your life if you give it a go.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, anybody in small business has to be an entrepreneur, and you have to change from being a photographer to an entrepreneur, which means you have to know a lot about everything as well, about the numbers, about pricing, about marketing, and all of those things, not just photography.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And if you don't know how to do it, either learn it yourself, which takes a little longer, or get someone to do it for you. And
Yes,
you've just got to do what you've got to do and just look towards the future as a positive.
yeah, absolutely.
So it's certainly exciting sharing your journey, Sarah, although it's been a short one so far, but seeing you progress so rapidly has been amazing. And I have, as a coach, tried to slow you down a little bit, but I suppose you're a lot like I was, and nobody could slow me down either. So, so, so that's great. So we'll close now because, as I say, everyone wants to get to see MasterChef. Thanks, Sarah, so
Yeah,
much. I know that it's now
thank
past your
you.
bedtime. And
It is.
do you actually get up at 5 o'clock every morning and go to the gym?
Oh, most mornings. It's a bit harder in winter, but yeah, I 5:45 class at my gym, which I really love. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we, you know, being in Melbourne, we know how cold it is in Queensland there. Um, so we feel sorry for you. All right, well, thanks again, and thanks for joining us. Sorry about the glitches. If you bear with me, next time I do a webinar, which will probably be next week, we'll be using a totally different software, and we'll be trialing that, and hopefully it'll give us a lot less problems. So thanks, Sarah, and we'll catch up with everybody some other time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
All right, good night, all. Good night.
Good night.